Crooked Joe Biden cares only about enriching his own family, as you probably have heard.
Well, that's not true. You're saying things you do not know what you're talking about. No one said that. Who said that?
Who said that? It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I'll tell you who said it. Devin Archer did. Basically. In a sit-down with Tucker Carlson. They're digging into it way more deep. It's an hour long on Tucker's Twitter, at Tucker Carlson. And it's awesome. It's worth the watch. You know, Tucker goes in and asks him just about everything you would want to know. He asked Archer why the Bidens got involved in the Ukraine prosecutor stuff in the first place.
Why would Western powers even get involved in who the chief prosecutor in Ukraine is?
That's a question that I don't know.
Yeah, it's a question I don't know. And Tucker's so good. Anytime that Devin Archer in this interview is BSing or giving him, the quote unquote correct answer, Tucker just laughs. I don't know.
I couldn't control myself. So, but within Burisma,
right,
this Shokin was considered a threat to your business.
Shokin was considered a threat to the business. I think anyone, and again, you got to get the signals to the government. I think anyone in government was always a threat.
So Shokin, the prosecutor, was a threat, and anyone in government was a threat to Burisma. Sounds like they were on the up and up.
And always trying to shake down these businesses that were highly successful and enriching the owners and the staff and the board and whatever. Yeah. And so at the end of the day, Shokin was taking a look, and again, if I wasn't involved.
And again, I wasn't involved, but Shokin was taking a look. And son of a bee, he got fired, right? And the now infamous tape of Joe Biden bragging about having the prosecutor fired. Why did Burisma even think that the vice president would be in a position to help them?
There's no relevance in asking, the vice president about, the gas,
right,
revenues or anything like that. It was never, it's enough. And the prize is that contact and that access to power.
The prize was the contact and the access to power. Devin Archer gives full basic, nod and a wink to the fact that this was an influence peddling scheme. He tells you without having to say it. The access to power and the access was enough. That's why Joe Biden was involved with Burisma. And now one of the lesser things that's being reported, but I think it's a big deal because I just think it kind of reiterates how slimy this relationship was. Not only was Hunter Biden on the board with no natural energy or Ukrainian cultural experience, he's only on the board because his dad is the vice president at the time. But at the same time, they're being showered with extravagant gifts by Burisma.
What about gifts? And this is a part of the world where people give gifts,
right? And
those gifts are a kind of non-taxable payment, you could argue.
You could argue.
Were there gifts?
There were some birthday gifts. A watch.
Just Timex kind of watch, or
no? What was the watch? I believe it was a Hubolt.
A Hubolt.
I'm not actually sure. I shouldn't even say that, but I don't know. But I know there's a birthday gift. I've also been refreshed in my memory through the series of documents that have been put in front of me.
Through your testimony to the Congress.
It might have been. Yeah. Exactly.
So a watch like that would cost like ballpark,
$50,000 to $100,000.
Yeah. So a real gift.
A real gift. Meaning.
What about gifts?
Yeah, a real gift. $50,000 to $100,000 watches for your birthday. Nobody I know loves me that much. I have never gotten a $100,000 birthday gift. Mac, have you ever gotten a $100,000 watch for a birthday gift?
Yeah, right. What?
Your mom doesn't love you.
I guess not.
This is normal stuff when you're a member of the Biden crime family and when you're working for Ukrainian energy companies. This is normal stuff, just non-taxable payments. Must be nice. But they had to have known that they were eventually this was going to catch up with them, right? Like they had to know they were flying too close to the sun, and Devin Archer says just that. He did know.
Some picture on the website that Hunter had joined the board. And that was that was like the tipping point where Icarus had arrived a little too close to the sun.
Yeah.
And the rest, and the rest of my story has, been a slow downward.
Yeah. The trajectory changed at that
It was
point.
like this, exactly. That was the Icarus moment.
Okay, huge, super lucrative Eastern European
Right,
natural
I thought it
gas
was
company,
incredible.
sort of semi-employed kind of lawyer lobbyist from DC. Like, what is he doing on their board? Like, it just seemed,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Everybody kind of knew. Yeah, right. So that's where we're at. I suggest that you watch the whole interview. It's an hour on Tucker Carlson's Twitter channel. It's awesome. And again, the facial expressions of Devin Archer tell you everything you need to know about the Biden crime family and what they knew. There's definitely some reading in between the lines when you watch. But Devin Archer doesn't have a poker face. And it's so crazy to me that still nothing is happening to the Bidens. Like, where are we at? Do you think anything is going to happen to the Bidens with this? 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. So, on the opposite end of the scale, Donald Trump is now, he may not be able to share evidence from his trial because of a post that he put on Truth Social saying that, if they come after me, I'm coming after them. So now he's not going to be able to share evidence from the trial. So only the Mockingbird media will be able to choose what gets shared from the Trump trial. And I'm sure that the Mockingbird media would only want us to see what they want us to see from the Hunter Biden stuff too. But luckily, guys like Tucker Carlson out there are getting these major groundbreaking interviews despite media trying to shut them down, despite Fox News trying to deplatform him. He's still getting that information out there. And I think that Trump is going to be able to get the information out there as well. This is what Trump's lawyer said about the deal that they're trying to work on with the prosecution in the Trump trial.
This weekend, the judge rejected your request for 3 more days to consider the special counsel's proposed rules for how to handle evidence. The proposed protective order that would let Trump use some sensitive information, but not take that information with him. Will you agree to that?
Will they agree to that? We're going to find out today at around 5 o'clock. But, spoiler alert, no, they're not going to agree to that.
Well, first of all, this protective order that's being suggested by the Biden administration is an effort to keep from the press important non-sensitive information that the Biden administration has that may speak to
This isn't by the Biden administration. This is by the
President
special
Trump.
independent counsel.
Okay.
No, here for this reason, no.
No. Jack Smith, I understand he's been hit by a truck before and he's the bravest prosecutor in the world. But she says, this isn't the Biden administration.
This isn't by the Biden
innocence
administration. This is by the
President
special
Trump.
independent counsel.
Yeah, this is by the special independent counsel, actually. It says independent right in the name.
This is by the
President
special
Trump.
independent counsel.
That's how you know he's independent. So your point, sir. Trump's lawyer says no, it's not an independent counsel, and here's why.
The independent counsel, it's not independent, it's special counsel, has to get the approval of Merrick Garland in order to go forward. Joe Biden said in November 2022 that he wanted to see President Trump prosecuted and taken out of this race.
There's
so it
no,
is the Biden
I'm just going to stop you
administration. Make
because there's
mistake
no
about it.
evidence
But the
that
bottom line is
Joe
no,
Biden is involved in this. And you're right, it's a special counsel. Let's just
Well,
stick to
the
the
evidence-
question.
I'm going to stop you because there's no evidence. There's no evidence that Joe Biden weaponized his DOJ and told Merrick Garland he wanted Trump taken out. There's no evidence of that. Well, Kayleigh McEnany actually was on Fox. I do like Kayleigh McEnany. I know the president's taking shots at her. President Trump has. But she actually references the New York Times article that they're talking about.
An April New York Times article titled Biden's Response to Trump's Indictment, 4 Ways to Say No Comment. He's really good at that, isn't he? Well, they have this passage buried 14 paragraphs down. Here's the quote. He does have opinions, he being Joe Biden. In the past, Mr. Biden privately told his close circle of advisors that Mr. Trump posed a threat to democracy, and here's the big point, and he should be prosecuted for his role in the events of January 6th. He also told confidants that he wanted Attorney General Merrick B. Garland to stop acting like a ponderous judge and to take decisive action.
So that's from the failing New York Times. Biden wanted Merrick Garland to take decisive action. But no, they're independent. Nothing, Biden has nothing to do with this, right? Absolutely nothing. I don't know. I'm still not sold that anything's going to come of this. 615-737-9986. But the point is, Trump's team is not going to agree to this deal that's being proposed about sharing evidence or not sharing evidence.
The point is that we will not agree to keeping information that's not sensitive from the press. The press and the American people in a campaign season have a right to know what the evidence is in this case, provided that this evidence is not protected otherwise. So we're going to oppose it, as we have. But for whatever reason, these lawyers on the prosecution team want to keep that from the press.
Well, won't the evidence come out in
shocked,
trial
candidly,
anyway?
That the press... some of it will, not all of it. I'm shocked that the press isn't lined up objecting to this protective order, because not only is President Trump being attacked for his First Amendment rights, now these prosecutors are trying to impinge on the freedom of the press.
Okay, let's stick to, I
so
appreciate you trying to
You
stick
asked me
up
what's
for us.
happening. I'm telling you.
I appreciate you trying to stick up for us, but let's talk about the actual
I'm telling you what's going on right
substance
now.
of what they...
I love the Mockingbird media. I appreciate you trying to stick up for us, sir. But did you know that Special Counsel Jack Smith was once hit by a truck? I think he has our best interest at heart. 0535 texted in and said, nothing will ever happen to any of them. They protect their own. It reminds me of the Malcolm X quote, I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I've got enough sense to know it. So true. 2923 says, nothing at all is going to happen to the Bidens. It will all be swept under the rug, and all the attention will go towards Trump or any other distraction that they can find between now and the election. John texted in and said, Chris, the Bidens will be like OJ. They will become the obvious butt of countless jokes, and that will be all, sadly. Yep, sadly. I mean, I can't disagree with you guys. I don't want to sound black-pilled. I don't want to sound doomer-esque, but I don't think anything's going to happen to the Bidens. I just don't.
So then there's really nothing that could make something happen. If all that's happened, all that they've, I guess, allegedly, quote unquote, done, then there's really nothing.
Unless we're going to see people perp walked in handcuffs.
Yeah.
It seems like only the right gets in trouble for anything.
Yeah.
And it's always thought crime. It's so crazy. I remember when Julian Assange was leaking all the information, they had asked him, when are you going to leak anything on Donald Trump? He's like, well, if I had anything good to leak, I would. I'm just of the opinion that if they have ever had anything on Donald Trump, we would have heard by now.
100%.
They have gone through everything in this man's life with a fine-tooth comb. Anything that could possibly have hurt him, they have tried or they've pulled out the stops on, and they're going to stop at nothing to get him out of the race, it seems like right now. But the Bidens, on the other hand, we have bank records, laptops, text messages, eyewitnesses, guys that were in the room, whistleblowers, and then it's still fake news. If this was real, the news would tell me. It just does. The disconnect is so crazy, but the disconnect is there. So they can somehow get away with just not talking about it.
NPCs.
The non-player characters.
I'm learning.
They only do what they've been programmed to do. And until the news, until ABC, CBS, NBC is out, on the nightly news saying, we have the bank records, we have whistleblowers, this is what President Joe Biden did, nobody is going to wake up to it. I know you're awake to it. I know you're hip to the game. But unfortunately, the Democrats aren't. And unfortunately, their voting base isn't. And they're distracted. They're distracted with the bread and circus of life. They're distracted with crazy inflation. They're distracted with riots in New York City over free PS5s. This is where we're at. The culture is decaying, and we're all worse off because of it. And because the culture is decayed, we can't accept expect people to wake up or be hip to the lies. They love the lies. They love being spoon-fed this stuff. It's crazy, but it's the reality of the world that we live in. I don't know. I'll hold out hope. I do like what Kash Patel said about impeaching Wray and Garland to get some more receipts. That's where I'm at. That would be real action to me. I don't know if we're ever going to see anything like that. Andy Ogles is going to be on the show tomorrow at 9:30. I'm going to ask him about impeaching Wray and Garland. You know, he's introduced articles of impeachment for Joe Biden. Maybe he can shed some light on whether or not impeaching Wray and Garland is even doable. It's 11:50 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. This is the Chris Hand Show on Super Talk. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's Chris Hand, joined by Matt Murphy. Hello, Matt.
Oh, hello. How are you?
Good.
No,
How
I
are
was
you?
looking behind myself because, if you're watching on Super Talk TV, I was watching you this morning on Super Talk TV. You looked great. You
Thank you.
look great. But the background leaves a little something to be desired. We need to work on it.
We can move the "Don't Tread on Me" flag over.
That might
be solid.
That might be something.
Was there a memo today that I didn't get about Hawaiian shirts?
No,
I mean, Dan Mandis is wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Matt Murphy's wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Am I not cool enough to be in the Hawaiian shirt club?
Don't know that what Mandis was wearing this morning would qualify as a Hawaiian shirt. The reason that I decided to select this was
Is it a pickleball thing?
It was it was just let's show Mandis what a real Hawaiian shirt looks like.
All right.
I mean, that was just
I haven't seen Barbie, but I feel like Ken would wear Dan's Hawaiian shirt.
I mean, that looked like a mess. It was a mess.
It was a mess.
It was like those multicolored sweaters that Cliff Huxtable used to wear in the mid 1980s.
It was a
looks
Cosby.
Like like somebody has dragged you down the road behind a truck and your insides are coming out.
Well, I wasn't going to go that hard on him.
So that's the spirit of the Hawaiian shirt.
So Dan looked like he got dragged behind a car, and you wanted to make sure you looked like you were a little bit more put together.
Aloha.
Aloha.
And aloha means hello and goodbye.
All right. What do you got coming up on the show today? Anything fun?
We'll talk about some of the events over the weekend. The Big Machine Music City Grand Prix. I went down there, was a great success. Although I have a little side story that relates to the Bud Light controversy that you want to stay tuned for in the 12 o'clock hour.
Did you get choked out again?
I did not. I did not.
Hang out. Matt
4
Murphy's
days choke free.
Matt Murphy's up next. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.